Um, So the council, George, you're first this week.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My only comment is, well, I was going to talk about Luis, but thank you for doing that. He was a joy to be around and was part of the fabric of Robbinsdale. Despite sometimes his foibles, he was a interesting and fun fellow. Only person that ever ran out with a beverage to me in the parade route, which I declined. Tyler, I haven't talked to you in the last couple of weeks. I'm glad you're okay, and I hope you and your family are doing okay. It was devastating to hear, but there was plenty of relief that it wasn't worse. That being said, if it was me, I would have already resigned. I think that's the prudent thing to do. I think it's the responsible and professional thing to do. You're younger than me. You could, after things are taken care of, you could come back more robust and stronger and run again. I think it's what the citizens of Robbinsdale want to see, for the most part. When we were talking about the pay increase, I was initially going to vote against it, but I should have kept track. I don't know how many hours dealing with the situation you created, in emails and texts and phone calls, and having people that know I'm on the Robbinsdale City Council asking me if I was the one that was arrested. I had 2 people do that, and of course I said no. I am happy for almost all those conversations were one of hope for you and your recovery, and everybody in the community is pulling for you in that respect. But as for me, I think it's time to make this less painful for the entire community and step aside and let us move forward.
Are there anything else, George?
No, that's all I have.
Okay, next, Pat.
Yeah, I want to send out my best wishes to Luis and his family as well, and everybody at El Toro, and really everybody in Robbinsdale. I mean, he is just a fixture here in town, and it's very sad to hear about his issues. So, and then Tyler, I do have a conversation about that too. I am very, very happy that you have reached out for the help that you think you need. I think it's fantastic. I have had friends and family members that have gone through recovery, and I'm happy to support them and help them, and I offer that to you as well, absolutely. But I too am getting tons of questions. I've had many, many people reach out to me as well. And as mentioned earlier, residents place their trust in us and place their trust in our elected. In fact, I think you said it, to your credit, you said that. And when that trust is breached, it makes effective representation very difficult, I think. And so, I think an incident of this nature is just a tremendous breach of trust. And I also think there's a responsibility to the city that we have been charged to care for. When our city is in the news for alleged misconduct, the focus is no longer on the residents and the businesses as it should be. It's on the alleged misconduct. This can lead to the unraveling of years and years of work improving this community and promoting our city. My goodness, excuse me. So I believe due to the seriousness of the charges and the evidence that by the videos we have seen in the news, any elected official, whether it's me or George, as some people were concerned about, no matter who it is, this is a charge that I think deserves resignation. So I just also call for your resignation. And again, it's not personal whatsoever at all, and I don't want you to think it is. And I will absolutely be there for you any moment of any day. But I do think because of the positions that we have, I think that there is a greater trust. There's a greater, there's a, I'm losing my words again.
Responsibility.
A greater responsibility, thank you. A greater responsibility that we need to live to. So that's where my comments are coming from, and that's it.
Okay, next is Tyler, I believe.
Yeah, prior to the recorded part of the, meeting, we had, some folks come and give their opinions on things and ask that I resign from my actions a little over a week and a half ago, or a week and a half ago now. Time's blending together. I did a pretty horrific thing. I drank far too much, and that was pretty much the end of my night, as I remember. It was, I could read about it, I could watch video of it, and there are no amount of sorries that I can give to people in the community, to my family, to my friends, to the people on this council. I ran for office to do good in this community, and by my actions, I have made it more difficult for everyone else to do good in the community. And for that, I apologize so much. I am, my actions were dangerous, reckless, disrespectful. I can't think of enough descriptive words to describe it. And for that, I am terribly sorry. I am thankful that there was no one hurt. Law enforcement wasn't hurt. That is not the person who I am or want to be going forward. I pretty much immediately went to seek help. I for a long time could write off my issues with alcohol and, just dependence of that it was, blowing off steam. I work 3 jobs. I don't get out enough. I'm just letting my hair down, which I should have been far warning signs that I did not heed. And I'm thankful that everyone is okay. But if I'm realistically looking, my behavior was going down a destructive path where I was going to make some sort of horrible mistake, and I'm sorry for the people of the community with that. I too have had lots of calls, emails about this incident, and I don't know, maybe it's a little different because I'm the person that did it, but I have had resounding support from people, whether in the community and different relationships I've made in and out, work, personal, and just tons of support that is absolutely helping me get through my day treatment program. I the other day was sitting at home, and my little son crawled across the room, and it became emotional for me because that was an event that I normally wouldn't have even have seen. And it's not because of my drinking, it's because I wouldn't have even been there. I would have been at work at one of my jobs, and it's, I recognize I need to rebalance my life in a healthy way where I don't put myself in situations like this. And I understand why there are people on this council or people in the community that are calling for me to resign. I really think that's not the example I want to lead. I want to show people that you can fall and pick yourself up, you can get better, and you can still do good in this community. And I understand if everyone doesn't agree with that and how I feel. But for the people that have reached out for me, that is a very overwhelming number of people that are encouraging me to do the same. I want to do better. I will do better. I can't change the events that happened, last early morning Monday. I can't. And I can't deny how horrible it was that it happened and that I did it. I mean, I was the person there. There's no arguing. I mean, we've seen video and read reports, but I can change the person that I am going forward, and I can work at it and show people that you can get better and you can still give back and do good for your neighbors and your community members. So, I you know I don't want to make I definitely want to. I take this seriously. I also would like to something that hasn't been mentioned is outside of this on a separate topic. My heart goes out to the family from the school shooting yesterday. I know we haven't mentioned that. As a father of small kids, I can't imagine what it's like to go through that. I have direct family involved in law enforcement that was at the scene, and I feel for them, and I hope they can get through this time, and I that's the end of my time. Thank you.
Sheila?
So first I want to address the public. I want to say that watching the video, initially when I heard about it, I couldn't believe it, and I thought that I was just devastated. It was heartbreaking to watch. Like others, people were calling me at work. I'm a school social worker. I'm very mindful in my job. And that's the place where I work. And of course it was disrupted because people wanted to know what I felt and how I felt. And I am always and always will be a person that listens to what people have to say. And there were a large percentage of people in Ward 1 that voted for Council Member Kline. And I support the voice of the people. I think that you know what you need to do for you and your family. I am not going to say or make a statement that Councilmember Kline should resign. I think that's his responsibility. He has to be accountable for his actions. That's the responsibility and the voice of the people of Ward 1. And that's where I stand. I am very happy that no one was hurt, because when you look at the video, it was miraculous that not only you survived, but others weren't caught in the midst of that devastation. So I would just say to you to focus on your sobriety, focus on your health, and I wish you well. And that's my position.
And do you want to talk about anything else, any other topics?
Well, this is I feel like this is a very somber time. Any other time I would be very excited to announce it's Black History Month, and I'm excited, and I'm still excited. But this has, I can't tell you the amount of brain time this incident has caused me personally. And just, even though I wasn't the one directly involved, it indirectly impacted me and my family as well. And there's a lot of questions, and I'm not in the position to answer questions about why you did it, what happened, where were you going, where were you coming from. But it has changed kind of my momentum tonight. Even the start of the meeting was hard. And this is all new to me. I am not a seasoned politician. I don't even consider myself a politician. I know that everything in this world revolves around politics. But I'm a social worker. I'm a person with a lot of compassion and empathy for people. I have worked a long time in this field, and I just don't believe in pouring water on a drowning man. And like I said, it is Tyler's responsibility and accountability to make a decision. But I did want to initially say, Happy Black History Month.
Thank you. Okay, so I've talked about the topic before, and I'm staying consistent with what I've said. I've never called for any politician to resign over charges of criminal activity. I received many comments from many people, both for and against a resignation, and almost everyone was really very respectful. I mean, I can actually, if I was hired to be the lawyer for any side of the proposition, I could make a good argument both ways. I mean, people have made good arguments to me that you should resign, and people have made good arguments to me that you should not resign. So I'm just maintaining my my long-held position that the voters should decide these kinds of things. On the other hand, I have been juggling other balls in my life, in addition to taking my mother to the emergency room this morning. We met at 11 o'clock, and we met with the city staff, Marcia, with Ryan Parks, and with Richard McCoy, our city engineer and public works director. And we met with three persons from Three Rivers Park District. We met with Bo Carlson, we met with Dan Freeman, and we met with Kelly, and I didn't get her last name, who really is kind of the person that does all the work in a way. So Three Rivers Park District is interested in, and they indicated because of Sahaki Park, and us kind of convincing them that, whoa, we don't have to have 100-acre parks in the Three Rivers Park District. We should be doing something for these 11 cities that are contiguous to Minneapolis, even if we don't have 100 acres. And they outlined a course of things that they are going to try to do that I suppose Marcia can put in the green sheet, but really more centered on activities that we can do and things that will be beneficial to us cities that are the contiguous cities without 100-acre parks. I talked about the helping us with the channel under the lower Twin Lake and the deterioration, and maybe they can kind of quarterback that, all these agencies that have to do something about it. And they talked about, and Marcia talked about making sure that the trails that are along Highway 81, even though there's a proposition that the LRT come through there, that we would work with them to try to make sure those trails don't go away no matter what. And there's this Parks Initiative plan that they have and some overviews of what they do. What else? There was something else that I meant to bring up. I don't know what it is. Anyway, it'll come up later. And certainly dozens of times I was served by Luis, and never once was it an unpleasant experience, and always it was it's a fun experience. So Marcia, go ahead.
Yeah, I just thought of one other thing. We switched to the TIP 411 system for emergency alerts. It's overall a vast improvement from calling into a phone number to hear either at that instant there is or isn't a snow emergency and absolutely no other information. So we're trying to put that one in the past. It's not helpful. The TIP 411, some things that are good to know. If you download the app onto your phone instead of relying on signing up with a particular phone with a particular phone number, it'll work better long term for you. So we really want to encourage people to download the app. And also, good idea to not just rely on one email or one phone number, one text message, because if that particular carrier is down, you might not get a message. So, as they say in engineering, belts, buckles, and braces, email addresses plus cell phones plus multiple email addresses. And if you're trying to get an emergency alert, try to let it come multiple ways, not just one. And apparently the app is a really good thing, and then you don't have to worry about if you change carriers, it's going to stay with you because you'll have the app. So that's the other thing I learned today.
All right, is there unless there's anything more from the council, is there a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, all those opposed say no. The motion carries. We go into a work session in about